Gungans. Gungans.
Gungan.
Gungans. 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 Gungans.
Gungans.
Gungans. Gungans. Welcome back to the class, everyone. It is finally happening. We are getting Phantom Menace content. We have waited so long for this, and while we don't have our beloved culmination, ultimate, super, best character ever, Jar Jar Binks, we do have a really important character to talk about today, the lifter for General Grievous's team, also known as Stam. So I do want to talk about several things in this video. We want to talk about the kit a little bit and what it's going to be doing for General Grievous. In addition to that, I want to take a broader look at what this is going to do to the Grand Arena board, both encounters that are going to be used against General Grievous, or rather stop using against General Grievous, as well as what this is going to do to other teams, because there seems to be something larger here going on. About a year or two ago, I don't remember the exact timeline, Admiral Trench came into the game, and while his kit overall looked good with everything that he wanted to do, the team that he was going to require just was not available in TW or Grand Arena. Shortly after that, TW, there were a slew of Omicrons that came that reinforced Poggle, Droidica, and then Trench obviously had his own, that really solidified the three Separatist teams that we can use in TW, and that's really well organized, works really well, not a lot of flexibility, but still, you get three really good teams out of it. GEC, that problem had not been answered until just about now. My three biggest complaints, and we even made a whole video on this, my three biggest complaints were Jango Fett is really good in a Maul team if you're not using Maul with Lord Vader. Newt Gunray is instrumental in a General Grievous team. He's what allows General Grievous to beat all the higher tier teams that he can beat. And then Wat Tambor, while he can go with many teams and still will go with many teams, the biggest team that he helped out the most was going to be Sith Eternal Emperor. And when we look at what's happened in the last couple of months and what continues to happen, CG is trying, whether they're right or wrong, they're trying to give us answers to this problem. We got Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, who for the most part will probably end up in a Maul team in GAC due to the synergy they gave him here. Definitely not for the next 4 months, given his Datacron makes him very overpowered with the Imperial Remnant team. But if you do have Maul as a free agent, it gets him another slot there to where you can use both GAR, ISC, because they were reworked in Canderous for that perfect 5. Then we're also getting Darth Bane, who is definitely supposed to be taking the place of Wat Tambor, allowing C to beat a lot of the higher level stuff that he's currently beating without actually having to steal away that character. And then I realize this is B1 Battle Droid, but this is to resemble the new Stam character that's coming to the game that I do believe can fully replace Newt with everything that he's going to do. In fact, it's a little bit hidden, but there's some Newt-esque like things that are going to be happening in his kit, and he's going to be able to do something to a slightly better effect, but we'll get to that once we talk into the overall kit. So I believe they're answering the problem. Now, the question starts to become, what is he actually going to be doing for the General Grievous team? Can he match up to what Newt was doing? So before we analyze that, we have to recognize what really was Newt doing for the General Grievous team. And actually did several things, but the most important thing by far was Viceroy's Reach, where if we look into this, it says whenever a Separatist ally inflicts a debuff, they also deal 5% max health damage to that enemy. And the damage, fine, whatever, its damage is good. I don't care about that as much as I care about the fact that how General Grievous's kit is worded, and this is how it functions too. When a target locked enemy is damaged, each droid and each Separatist ally gains 2% turn meter. Basically what that means is whenever B2 and goes and uses his AoE against a fully target locked team, not only is he going to be giving 2% turn meter, rather 10% turn meter, 2 times 5, he's going to be giving 20 because every single time that he lands a debuff on those target locked enemies, he's going to be increasing or inflicting more damage, which is therefore going to generate more turn meter, and is the reason why Grievous can punch up to those stronger teams like CLS, like Starkiller, like bad JML and C comps, and gives him a space on the board, at least offensively speaking. Defensively, Grievous has not really had a place in the game, or at least at the higher levels of GAC, due to both Wampa and Bad Batch just kind of destroying him for really high banners. And now when we actually go and look at what Stam is going to be doing, it's quite a bit actually, and it's a fairly simple kit, but there's a few things we need to recognize right at the board. Number one, he's going to be adding in a new debuff called Pinned, where they can't gain bonus turn meter and they lose 25% speed. So this is really mimicking Newt in a way, because Newt does have a way to deal speed down, AoE speed down to the whole team. Our Stam here will be able to give that or mirror that in a very similar way. But more importantly, when we scroll all the way down to the unique, which does require a GAC Omicron, and you probably are going to want it. And the reason why my facial expressions are this way currently is because they specifically nerf the character if you don't have it, to the point where your team will lose turn meter whenever they take true damage, which is going to happen a ton with Bad Batch. And the only way they can not lose turn meter is if they have the GAC Omicron applied. But anyways, the main point that I want to look at here is this top line. At the start of the battle, if all are Separatist droids, so goodbye Newt, whenever an ally inflicts pinned or target lock on an enemy, they also inflict damage equal to 10% of their max health damage to the enemy, which can't be evaded. So again, the damage is nice. Not going to complain about that. It's good. Moreover, really what we're looking at here is if we have another instance of damage, that means we also have another instance of turn meter, and that's going to be happening whenever an ally inflicts pinned or target lock on an enemy, which is going to happen constantly if you're familiar with overall how the General Grievous team works. So he's going to be able to not really replace, but mirror Newt in those two ways. And then really where I think he's going to start to pull ahead over Newt is when he gives out overcharge, or when he gains overcharge. All allies gain 20% max health stacking, which is not capped, by the way, for the rest of the battle, and recover 10% health and protection. So your Grievous is going to be able to have 100% extra max health, which that's how he deals all of his damage, and also he just won't die if his max health gets atrociously high. And this, while it probably won't be a hard stop, I think this is going to let some of the higher level Grievous teams start to cut out Wampa as a counter, because if Grievous can stack enough health that's then converted into offense when he attacks, he might just be able to kill Wampa. Granted, Wampa will probably still be able to tear down a lot of the team before he actually gets to those high stacks, but it's something worth mentioning. But really overall, most of the kit is just meant as a hard counter to stopping Bad Batch, and in addition to that, also maybe having a shot at General Skywalker. There is some other things in the kit, but really I think those are the most notable right now. It's going to have more defensive viability than it had stopping Bad Batch, as well as probably giving Wampa some issues, but we'll really need to see the numbers to confirm. But ultimately, this is a way for anyone out there who wants to take Newt and use him in another team to go ahead and use him in another team, because it seems to have everything that the General Grievous team already wanted from our good friend Newt. Now, in terms of overall quality character, this is really pure speculation, but if we look back to the previous characters, or rather marquees, that we got at the beginning of both last year and the previous year, they were really good. We look at both Iden and Zori Bliss. We got Zori at the beginning of last year and Iden 2 years ago. Both of them GAC-centered characters that came in to reinforce a faction that had kind of fallen out of favor, and both of them did incredibly well and really enhance those teams. They take them from zeros to heroes. Overall, just amazing characters. So I will not be shocked if Stam comes in and actually makes Grievous a viable defensive team in Kyber GAC, as well as maybe does some other fun things overall. And there is something else we want to mention. I kind of wanted to highlight a lot of the kit stuff first, but they make it very clear here that they do have another model of this character for an upcoming event, which pretty much hard confirms we're getting some type of raid or legendary or something further that will probably be dropped maybe even today in regards to the new road ahead that's been talked about a lot on the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes event server. We know that it's coming sometime soon. Probably not today, maybe tomorrow, maybe sometimes this week. I guess we'll figure that out, or we'll find out when it is posted overall. But this Naboo background also, this inspires a lot of confidence. We're getting something bigger, and just so you guys know, Jar Jar, I'm coming for you. Thanks for watching, and stay awesome.